students, we all have experienced that in the 21st century, technology has become the knowledge transfer highway. Technology integration nowadays has gone through innovations and transformed our societies. It has totally changed the way people think, work, and live. Development of learning technologies in the current 2 to 3 years have drastically and rapidly changed education system. This is due to the capability of technology to provide a proactive, easy access and comprehensive teaching and learning environment. Nowadays, ministries of education in all over the world have provided a lot of facilities and training in order to enhance the use of advanced technologies in their country's teaching and learning process. In this context, schools and other educational institutions which are supposed to prepare students to live in a knowledge society need to consider ICT integration in their curriculum, and that has been done so far in a great extent in the current situation. Integration of information communication technology in education refers to the use of computer-based communication that incorporates into daily classroom instructional process. In conjunction with preparing students for the current digital era, teachers are seen as the key players in using ICT in their daily classrooms. Aim of ICT integration is to improve and increase the quality, accessibility, and cost efficiency of the delivery of instructions to the students. With this as background, today let me introduce you about how to design an ICT integrated lesson plan. This video helps you to design your lesson plans in an effective, creative, and interesting manner that will surely result in students' active learning. As per your syllabus, the pre-internship activity 5 is simulated lesson with ICT mediation. Here, we expect you to design an ICT-based lesson plan and present the same in simulation mode. So, ICT mediated lesson can be prepared based on evaluation approach or 5E model or any other model according to the guidance of your teacher educator. You can mediate technology in your lesson plan or lesson presentation in the following manner. You can have any audio or video clipping. It can be downloaded one, or you can edit or create your own video. You can even record an actual event and present in the classroom. Sometimes you can take animation or the motion pictures to utilize in the classroom situation. So, to prepare your lesson, you require to have the following points for the preparation. First of all, your teacher educators will orient you about what is the ICT integration, what is the significance of it, and as a whole how you are going to implement in your classroom situation, from the orientation of lesson plan to the entire preparation of the work, and they provide a model to you, right? Then they will also introduce about rubric assessment to you, that on what grounds ICT integrated lesson plan has to be assessed. Then you will be trained in your ICT lab about preparation of your ICT based lesson plan. The basic details like how to prepare a PPT or how to type. Some of the students, if they are not familiar with typing and all, some basic information will be trained there, right? Then demonstration by the teacher educators for 20 to 30 minutes. We may provide you a kind of demonstration implementing ICT integration in our subjects, right? Later on, the observation and assessment by student teachers, followed by interaction and discussion. Whatever we present as a demonstration, after that we promote a kind of interaction with the students, and whatever discussion take place and whatever is the outcome of the discussion, based on that the further classes of the students can be improved upon. Then workshop can be conducted based in order to prepare your episodes in the same. Finally, episodes written by the student teachers are to be corrected by the your teacher educator, followed by the feedback session. Then you are asked to go for the practice session, where observation, interaction and feedback goes on of your presented lesson, right? Here observation, when you talk about, your peers will also be observing your lesson along with the teacher educator. Then assessment will be done based on the oriented rubrics. This is a lesson plan format for a lesson with ICT mediation. So this plan you can type in place of writing. You can design a template as per the format of the printed lesson plan provided by your institution. I have given the template format in the description box. You can also download that for your help. This is the cover page of the lesson plan with all basic details such as name of the institution, course, academic year, paper, registration number, class, submitted by and submitted to. This is the first page of your lesson plan. Here you need to mention the subject, topic, class, duration, etc. Then below you need to write the teaching points and instructional objectives according to the guidelines of writing a lesson plan. For my English lesson, my unit is All the World Her Stage. Then subunit is Sai Paranjape, an introduction, which is missed in the sample. You can incorporate that. Then I have active vocabulary, fable and replete. After the active vocabulary, I have presented recognition vocabulary as glossary, and the words are familiar, wrangler. For this lesson to be taught, language item is prefix. Then later, you can present a screenshot of the passage to be presented for this particular class. Under this, I have presented the teaching learning materials such as digital flashcards, digital glossary chart, videos, etc. You can take a screenshot of each of the slides for better experience. Then here you can just paste the link of the reference website. Now towards right, you have a column of instructional objectives. Here you can type the objectives under knowledge or remembering, comprehension or understanding, expression or creating, and skill and appreciation. This heading for the instructional objective purely depends on the discussion with your teacher education, right? You are aware that under knowledge, we should write those objectives which are focusing the development of information based or recall and recognition based learning. Basically, memory based learning objectives will be written under this heading. Under comprehension, you can mention those objectives which target understanding of the students. Then under expression, you should write those objectives which enable your students to compose something either in oral or written form. Under skill, you can write those objectives which target listening, speaking, reading and writing activities of the students. Then here as an experiment, I had added value inculcation, which you can ignore, as this lesson plan is purely about ICT integration. Adding some other component other than your regular lesson plan may deviate you from the main idea. Here is your introductory stage where you are going to introduce the lesson with some warm-up related activities. The basic purpose here is to prepare students mentally, seek their attention and create some interest towards the topic. Here, in the column of introductory device, you can mention the techniques used to introduce your lesson. It can be narration, questioning, activity, etc. as per the plan of the student teacher. Now, in the teacher's activity, you will mention related to the teacher's interaction planned for introduction stage. What teaching learning material, questions, activities are used by the teacher to introduce the topic can be presented in the adjacent column, which is exclusively planned to present the ICT integration in the lesson. So, in ICT based lesson plan, you will have an extra column along with the existing column of your lesson plan. You can title as ICT mediation. As my topic is Sai Paranjape, who had been an Indian movie director and screenwriter, first to introduce the topic, I have asked the students to identify the famous movies by showing the images of those movies which are presented on a slide. After they had told the movie's names, I had further promoted interaction through an image of storytelling, which is presented in another slide, followed by further presentation of the images of great personalities, which you can see further in the next slide. Here you can see the great personalities related to the literary field. Once they reached to the name of Sai Paranjape, there I initiated some introductory questions about her, which led to non-response situation, and thus I announced the topic. Moving to the development stage, in English lesson, first we need to present active vocabulary. Maximum 2 words for which you ensure the learning of spelling, pronunciation, meaning, use and usage of each of those words. Active vocabulary relates to those words which are generally used in daily communication. Here, the first word is fable. First, teacher presents a word on the slide and asks them to spell and pronounce. Once they have pronounced, teacher confirms the pronunciation by playing an audio of the pronunciation of that word, followed by asking the meaning of the word to the students, which they may not be able to tell. Then the teacher gives a clue and asks them to, and he himself construct a sentence based on that given clue and further refocuses. He asks them to tell the meaning again. Now he may expect the correct or partially correct response, which he needs to confirm by giving the meaning on the slide. You can further ask the students to construct a sentence using the word because they have understood the meaning of the word now. You can also ask the synonym or the antonym of the word as the testing activity, which also needs to be incorporated in the slide. So, for the active vocabulary, one word presentation, you will have the word, spelling, pre-recorded pronunciation, a clue, a sentence based on the given clue, then the meaning of the word. Further, if you want, you can add synonym and antonyms also. So you can have these in different orders as per your teaching aesthetics and according to the psychological requirements of language teaching. Here, I have only presented the screenshot of the slides as it was difficult to incorporate lesson plan and PPT in a format. Later part of the video, I have separately presented the slides too. My second word is replete. This also can be presented in the similar fashion. Next stage is model reading, where in the regular lesson plan presentation, teacher reads a passage with proper pronunciation, stress, intonation and expression. In ICT integrated lesson, you can play a pre-recorded audio with the text on the slides as you can see here. Here, you are only able to view the slide as it is a screenshot. In my presentation, you can also listen to the audio. After model reading, students need to read the passage silently, where the glossary of the recognition words are to be presented, and that is presented on a slide with words, meaning and images if time permits. Then, you need to ask the students to read the passage aloud. They can read the passage from the slide itself, otherwise from the textbook. Here our purpose is only to integrate ICT. We need to give the due respect and place to the textbook wherever necessary. By this time, teacher read the passage, students read it silently and they also read it loudly for better comprehension and improved articulation. In English lesson presentation, as such, we don't have a stage where we explain the text information. We consider that students are of secondary level. Once they are introduced to the vocabulary and good reading exposure of the passage, they should be able to decipher the meaning on their own. However, we have a stage called comprehension development where you can promote interaction and discussion and generate key ideas of the passage, or further higher order thinking skills development is possible. So here, for my topic, I have first sequentially presented the images related to the passage as you can see in the slides. After presentation of each image, some interaction is initiated to develop the key ideas of the passage. So, at the end of this stage, you can see a concept map developed on the slide with the help of the students. Here you can have your own way of comprehension development, like only key ideas presentation, or students conducting some role playing sessions, or students generated mind map developed on the slides would further create a meaningful learning experience. Here you can see only a screenshot of my concept map, right? Now after the comprehension development stage, you need to test their learning of that passage, as I have done here through an activity where they need to order the events of the passage in a sequence. Now we are done with the passage information through different stages like active vocabulary presentation, model reading, silent reading, reading aloud, and comprehension development, etc. Now next stage is language item presentation. Here I have chosen prefix. So to teach prefix, first teacher seeks learners' participation through an activity on the digital board or on slide. A circle is presented on a slide with random words presented in blue and red color, where students need to form new meaningful words by combining the red words with the blue ones. And with the words presented on slides, students created words like illegal, preheat, overhead, etc. Then, teacher, after having interaction with students, reaches the definition of prefix and gives further examples. You can have a separate slide for definition and further examples. Later, I had used a downloaded video for better comprehension. Here you can see only a link. In my presentation, I will show the video. Then, once learning of the concept is over, I further tested their learning based on a video, which will also be displayed in the later part of the presentation. So, by now we are done with our actual teaching or development stage of a prose lesson. After this, you can go for recapitulation stage, where you can either ask direct questions and the answers of each question is displayed one after the other on the slides. Or you can ask some students to tell the summary of the passage, which can be typed then and there in the live classroom experience. Finally, at the end of the lesson, you can ask any one of the students to read the entire summary of the passage. Now at the end, you can give some home assignment which includes vocabulary, language item, passage information, or any activity based on any or some of these points, right? So at the end of your lesson plan, you can also mention the link of your presentation. So this is all about the lesson plan based on ICT mediation. Now let us move further for my presentation, which I have used for the classroom live session. So this is the cover slide on which you can have the major information like name of your college, simulated teaching with ICT mediation, then your paper, content and pedagogy of English or any other paper which you are presenting for. Topic is optional. Sometimes when you go for introductory stage, generally we do not write the topic on the top, right? Later, once we have developed the topic with the inclusion of the students' participation, then we write the topic. Moving ahead, you can see here, as I had told you, I had an activity where the students needed to identify these movies. So this is that activity. After that, here you can see as the students respond or they give the name of the movie, that will be displayed here. Moving ahead, you have I had given another presentation or another image in order to promote better interaction among the students, in order to reach to my next idea, whatever I wanted to take them towards. Then you have here the names of the different literary personalities, because I wanted to reach to Sai Paranjape. So first I had asked them the name of some other personalities. Along with that, Sai Paranjape name was introduced, and thus I created non-response situation and I reached to the topic, that is Sai Paranjape. Then moving ahead, here I had first given a word, that is fable, and I asked the students to spell and pronounce the word. Once they have given the pronunciation, I had confirmed the pronunciation by playing the audio. Fable. Then later I asked them the meaning of the word. So for asking the meaning of the word, first I had given the prompt, that is this image which you can see here. Based on the prompt, I had given a sentence. Then I further asked them to give an example. What meaning they have given, it can be partially correct or correct, right? I have to confirm it. So I had given the meaning of the word on the slides here. So then here students, what we need to understand, on your one slide, as you can see, there is the word pronunciation, sentence as a clue and the meaning. This order has to be according to the psychological principles of language teaching. Here it depends on you that how you are going to incorporate them, right? Now I have the next word, that is replete. There also first one sentence I have given in place. Sometimes you can have direct sentence also of yours. It is not always necessary to give an image. Here after the sentence I had given the image or the clue to the students, with the help of which I reached to the meaning. Here students, I wanted to tell you that order of presentation or animation is very significant. What you want to bring first has to come first. As you can see here in this video, I had presented first the word, then audio was there, then sentence, meaning. After meaning my prompt has come, which should not be there. First your sentence or your prompt, they should come together, later only meaning has to come. Why? Because meaning you are trying to derive with the help of the students, right? Now for model reading stage, you can have one pre-recorded audio with the correct pronunciation, stress and intonation. Here you have to focus more on intonation. Why? Because you need to generate some kind of emotion among the students with the help of your model reading, so that the exact manner, whatever you want to convey the message should reach to the students with the help of your text and audio. It was a familiar sight to the residents of Pune. A plump little girl of about 6 or 7, skipping along with an elderly gentleman. They laughed, talked and had a great time. The little girl was Sai and the gentleman was a famous educationist and mathematician, Sir R.P. Paranjape, India's first senior wrangler and Sai's grandfather, Appa. As they walked, Appa put simple mathematical questions and also related tables to her. Now, after model reading, you have a next stage, that is silent reading. So, for silent reading, you need to present the recognition vocabulary in the form of glossary. You can also, along with the words, you can also incorporate meaning and the images as per the availability of your resources. Then, here you have the next stage, that is comprehension development, where first the teacher presents the image, that is the image 1 as you can see here, and then the teacher promotes the students to give their own ideas related to image. Whatever the students present the ideas, those ideas can come in the form of cloud here. As you can see, the point 1 is given by the students, or after discussion it is generated with the help of the teacher. Then teacher presents the image 2, where teacher further asks some questions to the students, promote some interaction, reaching to the key idea number 2. Then the teacher presents the image 3, then further promotes the interaction for getting the idea 3. Likewise, the idea 4 with the help of the lastly presented image. Thus, you can see here one creative concept map is developed, which has all the related information about the passage. Now, after the comprehension development, we need to test the comprehension of the students, which has been done by this activity B in the queue. Here I have presented the information of the passage. Students need to arrange them in a proper order. The order is missed here. So this is the testing activity. Later, you can have various kind of the testing activity, the questions and the match the following, fill in the blanks, close test, any type of the activity you can incorporate. After that, by now as we are done with your passage information, now language item I had taught, and this is the activity which I had mentioned there, where the words in red and blue color separately are given and they need to form new words by combining these words, right? One from red and one from the blue section. Then related to that, based on after that you can incorporate again the slides of your definition, and the further examples can be incorporated. I had 2 videos here in order to teach the concept and in order to test this concept of language item.
Hello, I am Chris the Word Whiz. Let's take a look at prefixes today. Prefixes are groups of letters in front of a word. These change the meaning. We will look at 4 prefixes: re, un, bi, and dis. Here's one: review. When we add re to a word, it means again.
moving ahead, you can finally, after the end of the session, you can go for the summary, where, as I told you, are asking the questions and the answers can be presented here one by one, or some of the students can tell about the summary and it can be presented on the slides then and there in the live class. So dear students, this was all about your ICT mediated lesson. I hope by now you have understood how to design a lesson plan by incorporating ICT and how to present the same. I just would like to mention here that process of adoption of ICT is not a single step, but it is an ongoing and continuous process that fully supports teaching and learning. So dear students, thank you so much. Happy learning.